Hello, and welcome to our next little inspirational word. Sorry if you were expecting Debbie or Marie and you only heard from me 2 or 3 weeks ago, but we're just trying to get back into our normal rota so that we don't get confused and we know what we're doing. I wonder how everybody is. I'm missing people. I've had an interesting couple of weeks, a few disasters. An accident in the car. It's fell down quite a deep emotional black hole, and I wasn't very well for a few days. And these are weird days to have a virus because you're not too sure what it's going to develop into or whether it is. But anyway, thanks to everybody who prayed for me, and the virus got up and went, thank God. So the verse I want to talk a little bit about today comes from Colossians. It's one of the verses in the Bible that I love because it just reminds us how to live our lives. And sometimes I just feel like I need reminding. It doesn't necessarily come naturally. The verse is from Colossians 3. This is it. Let's see if this works. Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. So, we are clothing ourselves with compassion and kindness. So, you're one of God's chosen people. You're dearly loved, and I hope you know that deep within your heart. The thing I want to speak a little bit about today is about kindness and compassion. And as it says in that verse, we are to clothe ourselves with kindness and compassion, amongst other things, gentleness and patience and humility. But I've been thinking about kindness over the last few weeks. We're hearing quite a lot about it with like initiatives, the Love Your Neighbour campaign, and different people just doing the random acts of kindness, and people baking cakes for neighbours, and everybody, I don't know, just looking out for each other a little bit more than was the norm before. And all this is great. I think it's lovely to see. But in the midst of it all, one thing that I've become aware of is the fact that we also need to be kind to ourselves, and to know and learn how to practice that ability, that kindness, that self-compassion. I'm sure that we all need it. I wonder how many people have been beating themselves up about not coping with the lockdown, how you think you should have coped with it. You should have done better. You've got irritable with the children. You just, fallen out with yourself and everybody else, and then you beat yourself up about it. Well, give yourself a break. I'm sure that, we all need to step back at this time and to say to ourselves, look, it's okay. I'm going to be kind to you. I realise this is all very strange, these days that we live in, and sometimes we just need someone to give us permission to do that, to say, well, okay, okay, it's time to have a treat, give yourself a treat, go and have that bar of chocolate, go and run yourself that nice bubble bath, or whatever it is for you. It might be playing a video game, it might, I don't know, but strange that chocolate came first to mind, isn't it? But here it is, I'm giving you permission. Go and be kind to yourself. Another interesting way, which I've been learning about, practicing kindness and self-compassion particularly. I was reading about compassion last week, and the fact that compassion is like a coin with two sides. And on one side is the is what we generally would understand about compassion, that it's that ability or doing something that's going to alleviate pain or suffering for somebody. And we all understand that. But the other side of the coin is letting the pain have a voice and to be heard. And I found that very interesting. When I hit my low and fell down my hole the other week, I wrote. I find writing a very good medium. And I just wrote my anguish out to God, to anybody, you know, but to God, I guess, really. I think that's something that David did a lot. If you read through the Psalms, you'll find that a lot of them are outpourings of his pain and his anguish at that time. And I think that these are days when there is a lot of pain around the place. When I think of some of you who are separated from friends and from family, not just because of the lockdown, but through continent and country, I can't imagine what it must be like for you. And to have that added to that, the pressure of the lockdown, I just think, yeah, my heart goes out to you. It really does. And also those amongst us who you would think had got very stable and secure lives. It's amazing how sometimes the flashbacks come from nowhere, or those issues invade into our dreams and unsettle us. So what I'd want to say is, go on, be compassionate to yourself, be kind to yourself. Let this pain find a voice so that it can find resolution. As I said, I like writing, I write poetry. Some people might paint, some people might sing or write songs. Some people just need to talk it out with a friend or with a counsellor even. That's fine. Give yourself permission to do that. And at this point, I want to say that if you ever reach that point of lowest ebb, when you really, really don't know where to turn, I want to say that, I'm just looking for the phone number here, you can always phone the Samaritans. I'd hate there to be one person out there who needed this number at some point and couldn't lay their hands on it. So this is the number for the Samaritans. It's an interesting number. It's 116123. 116123. And I'm sharing that not because God isn't sufficient and Jesus isn't our friend, but that these provisions are part of common grace and they work alongside the work of God in our hearts and our lives. And sometimes you just need to be able to say to somebody, this is how I'm feeling, and have a completely non-judgmental ear to listen to you. Okay, so I haven't wanted to lead you all into darkness and into a troubled place. These are days of hope and days when God is doing amazing things. But these are days when we need to remember kindness. And that's kindness to those you're sharing your lives with. If you are locked down with others, then you should have plenty of opportunity to practice kindness. You know, a little positive note on the bathroom mirror, or breakfast in bed for someone, or a nice meal in the evening. These little acts, these kindness is the oil really that keeps relationships working, particularly when they're under stress, which they are at the moment. But kindness to yourself as well. Don't forget yourselves. Someone gave me a book recently. It's a beautiful book. It's called The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse. And there's a quote in it by the mole who said, the greatest kindness you can do is to be kind to yourself. Good old mole. So let's just Remind ourselves that these are days to be kind. That's a picture of me holding an umbrella over Minnie. Take care of yourselves and one another, and may the refreshings of grace rest upon you, each and every one. Amen.